Hey everyone, I thought I'd just do a quick intro of what my plan is, and then I will put you on fast forward. So there is a challenge on the Paper Issues July challenges called Spin Me Round Round, and the idea was to use spin art or circles. So my plan is to use these old chipboard circles that I have and color them to match this Vicki Boutin kind of blotchy paper. And I've got a lot of the Vicki Boutin Let's Wander, and I think this is honey, wildflower and honey. And there's a lot of circle shapes on there. So I'm just gonna go circle crazy. I've got acrylic paints that are close in colors, and I'm hoping I can find a way to make those kind of match. And I'm gonna paint the chipboard, and then this is the basic layout of the page. So I'm feeling good about it. So I'll put you on fast forward and we'll come back. Thanks.
Okay, so let's get started. So I moved my glass mat and I put my close to my heart mixed media mat down just so that I could have something that I could wipe off easier. These acrylic paints came in a big set of a whole bunch of different colors, and I don't use acrylic paints that often, so it's worked really well for me just to have a whole bunch of different colors. So I started off thinking I needed it to be more green than blue, and I'm sorry about the glare, just to have my lights there, I needed to be able to see the colors. I ended up needing a lot more blue. So I just kept mixing the color and painting it on there and then taking it over to the paper until I got the exact right color. And I'm going to kind of show you the process here for the first one, and then I'm going to fast forward slow motion, kind of real time, the other ones. But for this one, I just took that paint that I put over there and I just painted it. Mixed the colors up right there on the mat, a little bit at a time. And with the acrylic paint, I didn't add any water. I just put it directly on the mat, and it works really well. It covers the chipboard, and that's the thing. Like, watercolor is not going to cover a chipboard very well. You could use Distress Oxides, but you'd really have to use a lot of it. For something like this, when you're really trying to cover up, and this is really old chipboard. In fact, some of it is discolored because it just sat out for so long. It's probably 15 years old, 16 years old. But it works fine, and it was nice, and I think it ends up fitting the theme here. So I color it all up, and then I take a little bit of black and I'm going to add just a little bit of splatters on it, and I think that just kind of adds a little bit of the texture, so that it's not just a flat teal, and it matches the paper a little bit better. I had a hard time watering down the acrylic paint enough to get it to make dots. I had to add a lot more water than I thought. And because it's on chipboard, it dried really quickly. So that was kind of one of the good things about doing this. So I am going to take this one big green circle. I'm going to show you kind of what it looks like against the paper here in a second. And it turns out, I mean, really well. So that's the paper, and I think I turned out perfectly. So now I'm going to do the rest of them. And this is the camera kind of is messed up, but this is just me kind of real time. I painted half of them black, half of them in the teal color. On the black ones, I added the teal spots. On the teal ones, I added the black spots. And then you can see there they all are together. Had all those little chipboard dots. Then I'm going to add some white on top of it just to give it some texture. So I'm going to take the paper, and I need a few more circles, I think. So I'm going to add this Vicki Boutin stencil. I think it was from, I don't really know what collection it's from. It's probably 2 collections ago. And the black soot Distress Oxide with my blending brushes. And I'm just going to add in 2 of the corners some more circles just to kind of give it a little bit more dimension and to get a little more black in there. Just because I have those big black chipboard elements, I want to have a little bit of black. So I just did it on 2 corners. It turns out like it just adds just enough black to the background of the page so that you can see it. So here it is with the kind of the dots in the 2 corners, and now I'm going to figure out how to lay out my circles, and I don't want to cover up those 2 corners because I just spent the time doing that. So I'm going to rotate the paper 90 degrees and have the black in the corners that don't have, and you can see unfortunately the bottom of the the screen you can't see so well, but so that's how it ends up laying out, and it looks really cool. So now I've got these great kind of circle elements. They look like spin art because they have all the different paint flecks, and I've got the extra Distress Oxide on the page. I'm going to trim the page up, and now I'm just going to kind of put the page together. It actually comes together really quickly once I've gotten that acrylic painting done. And the first thing I'm going to do is glue down the black piece, and it is going to go just directly on the page. I'm going to just use my fine line bottle with some Scotch Quick Dry, and it turns out it sticks really well. I like these kind of challenges, and I like the idea that I can use one of my oldest products and still use it on a page with new products. So the Vicki Boutin Select Collection Let's Wander is pretty new. It's this year. And like I said, these are, 16, 17-year-old chipboards. And you don't see a lot of big chipboard anymore, particularly not like this, like how I bought it as a bunch of collection of circles. And I enjoyed the fact that I could use it together and kind of make it work. I don't get my acrylic paints out enough, and I don't get my chipboard out enough. So this was a really good challenge for me to figure out a way to use something unique. I originally was going to do some sort of circle cut file. That's kind of my go-to when I have one of these challenges that I'm not sure what to do. And as I was going to find a piece of paper that I could use for the circle cut file, I saw out of the corner of my eye this circle chipboard, and it was just sitting on the top of my of one of my drawers unused, and I thought, wouldn't it be cool if I could find a way to use that instead? And that kind of became the basis for doing this page, was just to try to figure out how to use a supply that I haven't used before, or that I haven't used in a while. And I'm going to really try to find ways to use this stuff going forward. Just use my chipboard up and use those supplies that have been sitting in my cabinet for a long time. So I don't know what your supplies are that you haven't used, but I'd love to hear from you below. What are the things that you've had for 10 years, 15 years, and you just don't pull it out anymore? So this is a picture of my daughter and I outside the Shedd Aquarium in Chicago. We went on vacation there in 2017, and she kissed me on the cheek, and somehow we got a picture of that. And I just thought that was the cutest little picture ever, and I wanted to kind of take that and put that in the album just as a memory. So that is going to be the focal point, and it doesn't really fit with the rest of the vacation photos. I mean, we have tons of photos in Chicago. We did the Shedd Aquarium, we did the museum with the dinosaur. I'm trying to remember what it's called. We did Navy Pier. We did all the normal tourist stuff, but this picture is kind of one of the ones that just stands out as a joy for me. I do stamp the date there, and it's kind of hidden, but I like to have the date on the pictures. I don't have a lot of journaling because I kind of think the picture says it all. And now I'm just going to go through all of the things that I had laid out, the Vicki Boutin kind of ephemera, and figure out what I want. Now this particular Enjoy the Today just is the right color. So I thought originally that I'd put some arrows, and I just couldn't figure out with all the circles how to make them work. So I'm going to go back to just adding circles. So I'm going to add these chipboard ones that I painted so they match the big circles. So they're kind of like enamel dots. So I made my own enamel dots. So I've got the title of Enjoy Today, and I've got the chipboard circles, and then I'm going to add some other circles. So there's not a lot going on this page beyond kind of just some simple ephemera, but it really is it's a pretty page. And I liked that sticker. I liked how it met it met the colors, but it kind of added a little sentiment. So it's fun. I like pages like this that are fun, but that don't have a lot of going on. A lot of people have a lot of clusters, and I love pages like that. But every once in a while, it's nice just to kind of have a simpler page. So for me, this is pretty simple, but it's got this bold graphic that kind of makes it, stand out. So I've attached all of the chipboard, and now I'm going to go and find some more circle stickers. We're just going to add them. That one says love. Once again, it's the right color. And they're in both Wildflower and Honey and in Let's Wander, there's this teal color. So that kind of helped work together. And I'm mixing and matching the stickers from both collections. Just a lot of different circles. And that's basically what I'm doing is I'm looking for circles. I'm looking for, and I thought I would put this travel, and I ended up saying no. It's the right color, it has the right theme, but I wanted to stick with circles because that is the idea of this challenge. So I put that one back, and I'm just going to add a few more in. Here we've got a geotag, we've got some stars, and so I think one says yes, there's a globe, so it's just a lot of fun. There's not a lot of anything fancy. It's just some circles and some acrylic paint. So now we'll have a few close-ups. You can see on this one kind of what the chipboard looks like. Specifically, you'll see just the different circles that I put and kind of the layers. And then the picture itself. And finally, the full layout. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. I enjoyed making it. It was a lot different for me. I liked pulling out my old products. If you enjoyed today, please think about subscribing and liking. I hope you enjoy playing with your products. Thanks. Bye-bye.